My name is Kirk, and we are live on Rescue Owners Challenge. Is this episode 27? I lost count. I think this is episode 27.
It is.
So if it's not, you can check me. We're all for that.
Yeah, you caught me off guard saying Rescue Owners Challenge, Rescue Owners Live.
Oh my gosh, did I do the intro wrong? Welcome to Rescue Owners Live. This is Kirk Mote, and on with your favorite co-host, Beth Mote. Is that better? Okay, that was much better. My goodness. We need to have like a recorded intro so I don't mess that up. So for those of you who don't know what Rescue Owners Challenge was, about 2-3 weeks ago, we put on a 4-day challenge. And that 4-day challenge, it was intense. I mean, we had 15, 16 if you include myself, and you 17 if you include yourself. So that's like 17 people in 4 days. We went from 6 to 9 p.m. and it was a powerhouse. We had Pat Quinn on. Pat Quinn, if you don't know who that guy is, you need to buy the recordings. I think they're only like $97.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But Pat Quinn is the coach of presidents, of sharks, from Shark Tanks, from Dean Graziosa, Tony Robbins, all the big name speakers you have ever heard of. Pat Quinn is the guy who coaches them on how to speak. I mean, like, he was one of the speakers on our event, Rescue Owners Challenge, a couple weeks ago. So if you missed that, I'm telling you right now, you need to take $97. It's $97. Bang the credit card and invest in yourself, because there was 15, 16, 17 speakers that were on Rescue Owners Challenge. Now I want to call it live. That was absolutely incredible. And so, I mean, I literally took pages of notes. We created a whole platform portal for those who want to get this recording, the official recording. It is up, it is live, it is ready for you to.
Perfect for family trips.
Yeah.
Listen to it on the way of wherever you're going.
And this is video recording too. So like, it has live video, uncut. I mean, there are bloopers in there. I promise you can find some bloopers, but uncut. And it is absolutely phenomenal. Definitely take some time and take a look into that, because that's going to be huge. It's Black Friday. It's not Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Kirk's ate too much turkey this past
I must have. So in case you didn't know, Beth, my sister, 2 brothers, and my wife, Beth, all convinced me to do a half marathon on Thanksgiving. And for those of you who don't know, I absolutely love running. Like, it is probably my favorite thing in the world. And yes, I finished last, like dead last out of all my siblings and my wife. I was dead last. But and everyone I tell it to, they're like, "It's okay, you finished." No, it's not okay. It's definitely not okay. I'm gonna have to work on that, because I can't be dead last again. Good thing was I wasn't dead last in the race, so that was my goal, not to be the very last person across the finish line. So boom, got that checked. But it is Cyber Monday. And so we definitely want to throw out some incredible deals that you won't hear anywhere else. I mean, anywhere else. And tonight is the only night that we're going to do this. I mean, the only night. Okay. So
it's the end of sale weekend. So there's not really a
I mean, like, when I say only night, I mean, like, we may never, ever offer a lifetime membership to Rescue Site affiliates. Okay, like that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So for those of you watching tonight we are offering, and do you have a link for that?
I do.
Check the comment section below. Beth is putting a link out, and like, you do not want to miss this. Lifetime membership to any level that you want, whether it's bronze, silver, or gold. We are offering a one-time payment. Never again will you ever have to do an annual membership of $297 for bronze, $997 for silver, or $29.97 for gold. This is a one-time payment, and you will have this for life. Your life, my life, whichever's longer.
Good way to beat inflation.
Great way to beat inflation. Speaking of inflation, like, this is one of those things that you gotta, I gotta change camera angles. Ooh, like that. So this is one of those things that you have to be aware of. Inflation is hitting, like, to the point where I just got an email from one of our vendors after selling a ton of product, saying, hey, by the way, forgot to tell you, but we increased the prices by 20%. I was like, yikes. That's a pretty big increase right there, brother. And so you got to understand, it's everything. It's your food. I mean, our barbecue sandwich went from $7 to $8, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that's a whole buck, and every sandwich.
Yeah,
and
pretty much
we eat a lot of sandwiches.
Wherever you go, whether you're at the grocery store, the gas station,
You're seeing it.
buying clothes, it's going to be going up anywhere from 25 cents to multiple dollars.
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, Dollar Tree. It's not
Dollar Tree is now the
anymore.
$1.25 tree. I mean, are you kidding me?
Isn't that the same
That's
ring?
25% increase. So like 20% was tough, but it's also not as bad as some of the other places that are increasing even more, like the Dollar Tree.
And it's probably not going to stop anytime soon.
It's not going to stop anytime soon. And so that's what happens when you pump a bunch of money into a economy. It's called inflation. Like, it's not like it all equals out. So like, you can pump money, but it'll ultimately equal out, because the value of the service rendered ratio of that to like the gross domestic product. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about. And so I'm no economic, guru, but it's basic stuff everyone knows. All that to say is, if you want to lock in your rescue site affiliate membership for life, we are offering a 1-day, one-time only price. I believe it's $1,500. Is that right? Is it $14.95? 97?
So now you're asking
$14.97. $14.97 for your bronze. $4,997, so $4,997 for the silver, and $14,997 for gold.
Yes, but you also have exclusives with the second two.
That's right. So when you buy the silver for life, we're giving you one of these babies right here, a brand new. Look at this thing, the Zoll AED Plus, brand new. That is a $1,700 value. That's actually the map pricing. The value is way more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much would you say value to actually saving a life?
Well, even
huge.
I mean, if it's for your business, that can be written off as a business expense.
That's true.
I mean, honestly, even if you're keeping it at your home, you're storing it there versus an office, it still could be written off as a business expense, because what are you taking to every class you go to?
That's exactly right.
So there you go. You have a tax write-off there.
Boom. So here's the offer. We got 2 offers for you tonight. Number 1, and then we'll go into some content, because I know that's what you're all here for. Number 1 is we have the lifetime membership of Rescue Site Services and affiliate program. And so when you sign up tonight, you will never have to pay another annual membership fee again. And when you're silver, you get one of these. If you're gold, you get 3 of these included in the price of your annual lifetime membership. That's offer number 1. Offer number 2 is, hey, you know what? I don't think I want to have the lifetime membership, but I still want one of these things. The only person in the world offering a $300 commission. I can't say discount, because we got to make sure we do the map pricing, and we can't advertise below $16.99 for this sucker. So for $16.99, you will pay $16.99 for this. But guess what? As a Rescue Site affiliate, you will be getting $300 back in the form of a commission. So you can do the math. That is what you're paying for a brand new Zoll AED Plus. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, no one, you check any other distributor in the world. I dare you to find someone giving a better price point today, right here, right now. And if you do, I'll match it and beat it. That's my commitment to you. I will match it and beat it. Now, don't spend the time over this next 50 minutes here with us searching for all that nonsense, because we got some great content for you tonight. So, but if you can't find something, message us. support@rescuesiteservices.com. Throw it in the comments. Speaking of the comments, we have one of the best audiences in the world. And I say in the world because we have people watching this live all over the world in multiple countries. So do me a favor, throw in the chat where you are tuning in from. And I would love to know where you're tuning in from tonight so that we can talk to you directly. Tonight, our topic is about hiring. And what we're going to see here tonight, and really, I would say next year is, what is it, January 4th? That some of these, I can't say that. I can't say the C word. I got told I can't say the jab mandates. Can we say that? The Java juice mandates. So on January 4th, I believe is the most recent Java juice mandate, blah, blah, blah. So I think we're going to see a major shift in like potentially the new pandemic, which is going to be the people, the hiring, the staffing pandemic. That's going to be the next pandemic, not the unicorn variant. Is that what it's called? We can't say it. We can't even say it. It's the unicorn. We're going to call it the unicorn variant. So we don't want to get flagged by YouTube. Am I doing this all right? Okay. All right, cool. This is why we have David over here. We have David telling us what we can and can't say on YouTube. So the unicorn variants and the Java juice, right? Yeah. So all that to say is January 4th, we're most likely going to see a mass exodus from employees leaving employers that are mandating certain things. And as a CPR instructor, as a small business owner, whether you're a CPR instructor or another small business industry, it doesn't matter. This is an incredible opportunity for you to snag some of those people and align them with a vision, a mission, and core values that they can get behind. And now they're part of your team growing your vision, your mission, your core values. Like, I can't think, I'm getting choked up over here. I can't think of a better opportunity than come January 4th than to start doing this. But it doesn't start then, it starts now. Yeah. Which is why past few weeks we've been talking about hiring. We want you to know how to hire, the type of questions you need to be asking in the interview, the way that you attract people. I mean, we're talking about, you got to inspire, you got to be able to align, you got to be able to attract people. Then you got to be able to develop them and retain remarkable team members. Because guess what? Come January 4th, I think a lot of people are not going to be able to retain their team members because of a mandate that they're self-imposing on their self and their company. That's just the cold hard facts. But you, as a business owner, can take advantage of that. And that's the thing. Like, whenever there's a horrible thing happening in this world, there's opportunity for someone else. I mean, there is a balance of sense, right? When it's like, oh, someone just lost all these billions of dollars. Guess what? Someone gained those billions of dollars.
Well, and people tend to say, oh, you're being pessimistic, or, you're taking advantage of the situation. At the end of the day, if you're a smart business owner, you know that these things come in cycles. There's always going to be that next big thing that really rocks businesses and industries and communities. And you need to prepare yourself so that you can best take advantage of that situation for the sake of your family, your team, everyone that does business with you. You are doing it to help other people. It doesn't have to be seen as a selfish thing. It's seen as a smart preparation in order to, support the company that you built, support the people that are under you, and continue growing forward through it, because ultimately people will fail and they'll survive, and you want to be on the surviving side.
And like, I couldn't agree more. Like, every like tragedy, there's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, oh, I'm taking advantage of the situation. No, you put yourself in a position to be able to provide a solution. Mm-hmm. And that is what you are doing right now. Because I mean, I can't tell you, like, we were helping people out left and right with, businesses that were failing. And we were able to help people, figure out a way to transition or to, sell their business or get out of whatever that horrible situation was into a good situation. And we were able to do that because we understood several things. And that is, like, first of all, training, but not only education, but taking massive action. So whenever you take training, a lot of people do this. A lot of people read book. They go to conference. They go to workshop. They go to masterminds. They go to all these things. And guess what? They learn, but they never once apply a single thing that they learned. And what a shame, because it's only when you apply what you've learned that you can affect change. And if you are always the student, which I know people that are always a student,
Yeah.
like they will
just enjoy learning.
they just enjoy learning, and they will never apply because they're scared. Oh, it's risky. Oh, I might, run into this or that, or my taxes might increase, or my whatever, I might get sued, or all these what if situations. I'm like, that's awesome, because if you aren't in a position that you could potentially be sued, then you're nobody. No one cares about you. No one even knows your name.
If you're willing to attempt greatness, you have to be willing to accept what can come with that. And if you're not willing to accept that, then you're never going to get past mediocrity.
These are new problems, which is great. I mean, like people, I think I saw a funny, someone's like, hey, I want to give you a raise from X amount to X amount. And the employer or the employee says to the employer, thinking he's so smart, oh, I'm good with where I'm at because I know at this point of money, my tax bracket increases. He goes, bruh, I don't think you understand how the tax bracket works, first of all. But second of all, like, why would you not want to earn more money?
Mm-hmm.
Because sure, now you have a new problem. Now you have this portion of your income being taxed higher. Okay.
It's coming from a bigger pie. Like,
yeah.
As long as the amount you walk away with is more, is that really a problem?
Exactly. And so, but at the same time, now we're talking about earned income versus, income while you sleep.
Well, that's a whole nother topic.
Whole nother game, whole nother ball game. So, like, look, when there's an opportunity, don't shy away from it because people are thinking that, oh, he's just taking advantage of the situation. No, like, I would ask yourself this question, and if anyone ever comes to you and says, oh, you're just taking advantage of the situation, like, ask the question, would you say my services are needed now more, or needed more now, or more needed more then? And I would say that the answer is my services are needed 10 times more now than they were previously. And if that's the answer, then yeah, you're not taking advantage. You are providing a solution.
Well, and if you're growing your business, someone else may be failing, but would they have not failed because you didn't purchase them, for example, and you're expanding your business so you can offer more jobs. So you just have to be able to look at the whole situation. I think most of the time people who fight that are not business owners. Mm-hmm. But I have heard some business owners say things like that as well.
That's true. I talked to a real estate broker, I think mm-hmm. it was, and he was explaining to me, and I think you might know who I'm talking about. He was explaining, we're making this much a profit, and we have this. We have one person on our team, or maybe it was just him and his wife. Regardless, I was like, do you realize that you could just add 2, 3, 10 more people and you'd literally blow up? He goes, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable where I am.
It's too hard to manage other people.
It's too hard to manage other people. Yeah, there's all these objections, right?
And really, that ties right back into what we've been talking about the past couple weeks and what we're going to be talking about tonight of it's only really hard to manage people if you don't pick the right people.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. And like one thing that we know in the real estate industry, which, if you're not in the real estate industry and you don't know much about that, for tenants, whether they are, people that you're leasing a multifamily from or renting, multifamily units, or you're leasing commercial property and have tenants, regardless of what type they are, you want to vet hard on the front end.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have issues on the back end. And that goes with really anything. Mm-hmm. Because the more you can do up front, expectations are set, and managed. And it's very important.
And for example, and you might get into this, but it just fits well here. When you're in that interview process, you can set expectations that aren't even coming from you, that come directly from the interviewee, where you say, hey, if I hire you, what can I expect from you?
Yeah.
And maybe they'll say things like, oh, I'll work harder than anybody else. You're like, give me something more tangible. They're like, okay, well, I'll be the first one in and I'll be the last one out. And, I'll always work weekends. And they start listing all this stuff out to be like, okay, so what I'm hearing is, let me rephrase this to you, that I can expect you to be the first one and the last one out and to work weekends. I can write that as things that are expected from you. That, if you don't do those, those were deliverables that you told me that you would provide. I didn't ask for them. You specifically told me you'd do that. And you can start making a list of, okay, you said this, you said this, you said this. And so when something happens and you start having problems down the road over whatever, it can be like, well, in the interview, you specifically told me you would do X, Y, Z, and whatever else. And did you not say those things? They'll be like, no, I did.
Yeah.
You don't even need to say anything at that point. They have told you exactly what you can expect and exactly what they're going to deliver. And they're the ones who have said it.
Yeah. And that's the best type of commitment, is when they are the ones who commit to it, not you saying, hey, my expectations for you are to be the first one in, last one out, work on weekends. I mean, that's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
Right. But if they say it, all of a sudden you get to hold them accountable. By the way, one of our core values, accountability. You get to hold them accountable for their words and their commitment.
You get to really see the type of person they are when you ask them a question like that, because you're getting to hear, okay, are they someone who's brown nosing me, who's just telling me everything I want to hear? Or are they someone who they're setting either somewhat realistic expectations that I think they might actually do? Or maybe someone says, I'll be the first one in. I might not be the last one out, but I'll always be the first one in. Okay, that might be realistic. I might actually expect that from someone. But if someone's telling me like, all these things that just sound extremely unrealistic, at that point, you can sort of vet them in that sense too, of just like, okay, this is probably someone who might not follow through with anything they're saying because they just want to tell you what you want to hear.
Right. So as far as, like attracting people, you first got to figure out what your mission, your vision, your core values are. Because if you don't know what those things are, then there's no way that you can properly communicate that to the world. Because why do you market? You market for a couple of reasons. One is for yourself personally. So hey, I'm in business. Number two is you market for your team so that they know without a shadow of a doubt, we are in business. Number three is you market for your competition so that they know without a shadow of a doubt that Rescue Site Services is in business. And finally, the fourth and final reason that you market, and it should be in this order, by the way, is you are marketing to attract other people, whether that is for them to come onto your team, to hire them, whether they are clients that you're trying to transact with. The fourth and final reason is to market for your clients and the people you're trying to attract. So first and foremost is yourself, your team, your competition, and then others. Okay, like that is what marketing looks like. And when you're marketing correctly, you are telling everyone, hey, our vision is to create a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. Powerful. Our mission is to, help CPR instructors achieve their personal, professional, financial goals. Like that is the mission of Rescue Owners Live, to help CPR instructors, really any business owners, but specifically, I know we have a lot of CPR instructors here, to achieve their personal, professional, financial goals more effectively, efficiently, and profitably. And so that is the mission here. Core values: inspiration, discipline, accountability, transparency, alignment, and results. Like, can you whip out your 6 or however many 4 core values that you have that quickly and that easily? Because if not, then you're not eating, breathing, sleeping, jabbing it in your arm. Like you're not doing what you should be doing. Because if you aren't talking about it in regular conversation, I mean, like even regular conversation earlier, I was talking about accountability. Like this came out because it's one of our core values. And so that is also part of the steps for a scalable interview process. And we kind of got into that a little bit last week, but we rushed through that. So I want to kind of go back and, kind of talk about the 3 types of interviews. First of all, even before the interview process, we want to make sure that the quality of people coming in our doors for an interview is high. And we talked about this before. And the way that we do that, and the way Grant Cardone does that, this is where I got it from, by the way, is a video, a 60-second video. And that 60-second video tells me who you are, what you do, why you do it, and why you would be a good fit for us. 60 seconds. It doesn't take that long. But those who send me a 3-minute video, they can't follow instructions. They're automatically out.
Simple as that. A lot of people just don't send videos.
Most people don't. Now, one thing you got to be conscious of, if you are a smaller company, which most people on this call are, you're probably not being inundated with 1,000+ resumes a week, and some companies do, by the way. And so that's why you incorporate the video. But if you're really hurting for people to apply and no one's applying, it might not make sense for you to require the 60-second video. It's a good weeder, but if you have like 3 people send you a video over the course of a month, well, that's kind of a small pool of people. But if you nix that for a while and maybe you get 30 people interview, guess what? You're always hiring. You should always be hiring, by the way. That communicates to your team that, hey, first, you're replaceable. I mean, first and foremost, it's like, yes, we have salespeople, and so we're hiring salespeople. Yes, we have a videographer. We're always hiring a videographer for production.
It tells them that you're growing.
It tells you that you're growing.
Because it doesn't have to necessarily be replacement. And it should encourage them to make themselves indispensable, but not in the sense of like, oh, well, I'm the only one that knows how to do these processes. Excuse me. It should be indispensable in the sense of I am an integral part of this team, that while someone could step in and do my job, they wouldn't do it anywhere near like I do.
Right. So there's so many aspects to this game, and so it is very important that you are able to, know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and process it. And listen, we don't have our processes perfect either. No business has all the processes perfect, no matter who they are. I promise you that. But you really need to start thinking about your processes, and really over, December, we're gonna dive deep into processes. We're to the point where someone can open up our blueprints and run our rescue site services without ever knowing us or anything. Like, that's how detailed we're getting on our processes. I mean, down to QuickBooks and accounting, down for bookkeepers, down to follow-up campaign for a full 3 years on our sales team. I mean, like, every possible thing you can think of, we are putting to pen paper to our Google Docs drive. Like, we're putting it down so that we can share it to our team, and ultimately really any of the partners that we have, rescue site platform partners. So if you are interested in getting your sales, your operations, your marketing, administration handled for you, so it's a done for you service where we manage those things for you, that's something that we offer. And so a lot of that everyone has their own recipe, and some people don't have any recipe. And so those are the people that we want to, partner with, because we know that, hey, this industry, the industry of, CPR training and providing resources like defibrillators for your home, for your office, for your community, like, these are the things that we want to make sure that is an industry that's going to blow up. Well, UK just passed a huge law. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. But essentially what's going on is, they're requiring these guys, defibrillators, in way more places than ever before, which is awesome. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a huge blueprint for the US to finally step up and be like, oh, you know what? We should probably do the same. Because heart disease is still the number 1 cause of death in the world. And you want to make sure that you are prepared with the knowledge and the resources to properly respond in an emergency situation. And so I want to help any CPR instructor that is willing to grow their business, more effectively, efficiently, and profitably. I want to help every CPR instructor who wants to achieve their personal, professional, financial goals. And we can show them how because we have the blueprint.
Well, and I'm sure, especially as business owners, this being noticed, but this time of year tells you why it's important to have processes and procedures, because you're probably dealing with people, you're messaging them, you need an immediate response or a response in the next couple of days, and you're getting an email back that says, sorry, I'm going to be out of the office for next week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next couple of days. And you're like, well, I don't know what to do, who to contact, who's their backup person, if they have a backup person. And many companies don't. Many companies have one person that does all these roles. And if they go off on vacation for a week, 2 weeks, a month, no one does that until they come back. So it's so important for your business not to be in that situation, for it to be where if, Betsy, who does all of the accounting, goes away, someone else has a blueprint to be able to go in there and check on it, even if it's just once a week, depending on how long she's gone. So that if someone sends an email in and says, hey, I want to place an order, and your order person is gone, you need someone to be able to fill that role.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. So you have, kind of the precursor for the interview process, which is in some people's cases, a 60-second interview. In some people's cases, hey, we're going to throw it out the window because we don't have enough people coming in our door to need to filter for a 60-second interview. Then you have a cultural or a behavioral interview, okay? So what a cultural interview is making sure they are a cultural fit. Like, do they fit with Rescue Site Services? The very first question I like to ask during an interview is, what do you know about Rescue Site? What do you know about Rescue Site? And that's going to tell me several things. This tells me if they prepared for the most important meeting of their life. To this point, where they are in their life right now, they're looking for a job. That job is going to be either given to them or not based off of this first interview, which leads to the next and the next, right? So if they, in fact, did not properly prepare, that tells me something. That tells me if they did not prepare, how can I have confidence in their ability to prepare for a client meeting? Right? I mean, that's the most important thing when you're on, in the business. So you get hired. Now we have you actually making cold calls or, doing visits or demos or whatever the case may be. And you set up a demo and you didn't prepare for who you were about to talk to. You didn't look up the LinkedIn. You didn't look up their Facebook. You didn't look up the Instagram. You didn't do a background check. Just kidding, not a background check. But like you get my point. You need to do a deep dive on who you're talking to before you talk to them based on, how big the deal is, obviously. I mean, so make sure if they don't know anything about you, that's a non-starter. The quality of your questions, what? Will determine the quality of your results. So you got to ask quality questions. And so when you ask an interview question, you want to make sure that those interview questions are not only one, like yes, no questions. Stupid ask yes or no question. You want to ask an open-ended question because you want them to talk. Because what happens when they talk is they'll overtalk. And that's also another red flag, by the way. We'll get into some red flags a little bit later. Another question, we like to ask is, what are your 5-year professional goals? And I don't want to go too deep into this part right here because this will kind of overlap in some of the behavioral interview that we talk about in a minute. But if they do not have personal, professional, financial goals, how can they possibly want to achieve a business goal if they themselves aren't goal-oriented? And so that's a huge red flag. We do not want to hire someone who is just looking to survive or just looking to get by or just looking for the paycheck, right? And that's not the type of person we want to hire. That's not the type of culture that we want to promote. We want to promote a culture of go-getters and people who are passionate about saving lives and passionate about getting these defibrillators into the hands of people who need it and when they need it most. And you never know when that might be, but if you don't have one of these things and you need it, that's when you need it. And so it's just like a fire extinguisher. It's just like life insurance. It's everything you can buy. Like any kind of insurance is another great example. But think of a fire extinguisher. This is the new fire extinguisher because it saves your life. I mean, if you look into buildings nowadays, you are 97 times more likely to die of a heart attack than you are from a fire in a building. And yet, how many more, fire, what are they called?
Fire extinguishers?
Yeah, I just lost the word. How many more fire extinguishers do you see out there than compared to these defibrillators? I mean, it's the ratio is embarrassing, because if you actually value your employees, if you actually value life itself, then this is the first thing you're buying for your building, for your business, for your team, is one of these things, because you want your team to know, hey, I value you as a person. I value your life. I value your health and safety. And the way I value that is by having one of these available and teaching you how to use it. As a CPR instructor, I would say probably over 50%, but right around the 50% marker of the people that we go into, businesses that we go into. So when we do mobile training, so we go to the client and do a class, 50% of the time, they do not have a defibrillator. How bad would it look on rescue site if we were to show up, someone have a heart attack, and I'm the doctor without the scalpel to be able to perform the surgery. I don't have my defibrillator because, it's not required to have a defibrillator. I just need a trainer defibrillator. Bro, that is such a horrible mindset. I can't imagine hiring someone like you. I'll say it that bluntly, because if you're not willing to come prepared with the profession you chose to teach someone how to save lives, like, that is the worst thing that you can do. Show up prepared and professionally prepared by having one of these defibrillators whenever you teach a CPR class.
And especially with the general health of people these days, like,
oh my gosh,
I personally have taught CPR classes where I've told someone to stop for a minute. They're doing good compressions, they're doing good breaths, and I'm like, you clearly, though, are physically suffering. I need you to sit down for a minute because I don't want you having a heart attack in my class. And it is something that you have to be careful of. I know I read a story recently of someone who was doing CPR on a man, working to help save him, just a random stranger. That person had a heart attack while giving CPR to someone who had a heart attack. So the general overall level of health in our country has greatly diminished to where it is truly just an incredibly increased chance that not only is it just going to happen in general, some point in that building, which you could be there for that, it could happen in your class, because it is strenuous to an extent to do compressions, and most people find it very tiring to do a couple rounds of CPR.
Dude, like, that's such an interesting point that you bring up in my mind. Okay, so you have 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses here in the U.S. alone. 2/3 fail cyclically every 5 years. 2/3. And you just mentioned how the health of the U.S. is on a downward trajectory. To the extent you take your body seriously is to the extent you take your business seriously. And for those of you who are teaching people how to save lives, you want to make sure that you are, like, the example. Like, you want to take your body seriously so that when people ask you for advice, you're not saying, oh yeah, you should work out every day when you don't work out every day. Oh, you should sleep 8 hours a day when you don't sleep 8 hours a day. Oh, you should eat your vegetables and whatever. And you don't eat your vegetables. Like, how can you possibly, like, this? That's not, you got to walk the walk before you talk the talk. And so if people, like, when I introduce myself, or when someone introduces themselves to me, like, your opinion on that person happens within a split second. And that is based off many factors, but the biggest factor is your presentation, who you are, like how you look, your appearance. In a split second, I can know so much about your discipline, which is one of our core values, your ability to inspire by your posture and the way you hold yourself. I mean, like, there's so many things I can learn just from a simple handshake. Do you make eye contact? All right. I mean, like, so many things. And all that to say is, like, to the extent you take your body seriously, you'll take your business seriously. And I couldn't encourage you enough to prioritize your health, prioritize your sleep, your exercise, and your diet. Those 3 things together, I mean, you will have the biggest part of your day figured out. And then you're able to tackle all things business. I mean, I couldn't. No, that's
I would love to jump into some red flags. You got me excited about
all
that
right.
now.
Talk. You want me to talk about red
Yeah.
flags? Okay,
Got the
so
list there.
you got me all excited. So for those of you who don't know, she's actually a licensed nutrition coach,
Nutrition coach, yeah.
and so she knows her stuff. And so if we get talking about health too long, she'll just she'll dive into the weeds. All right, so let's talk about behavioral the interview, right? Okay, so you don't want to scare people with some questions like, hey, one of the first questions I ask you is, what do you know about Rescue Site? Like, that could potentially be intimidating. I'm not really sure why, but again, it has everything to do with presentation. So, hey, my name is Kirk. I'm the CEO of a Rescue Site. Speaking of, what do you know about Rescue Site? Super casual, super chill. And now it's not like you sit down. Tell me, Beth, what do you know about Rescue Site? Light. It's like not. It's like it's much
not
more.
The SAT.
SAT. That's not the word. What's interrogation? It's not an interrogation. SAT. Oh my gosh. There's not. They don't even do that anymore. People don't even know what the SAT is. Listen to this. Maybe they do,
Yeah,
but
they
it's not something that they do anymore.
I think maybe took the essay out.
Okay. Anyway, my name is Kirk. I'm the CEO at Rescue Site. Pleasure to meet you today. By the way, what do you know about Rescue Site? And then you let them talk. Couple red flags. I couldn't find much on your website. Okay. So that could potentially not be a red flag if, in fact, your website stinks. All right.
It's like a 1-pager.
So,
nothing else on there.
I mean, some 1-pagers are great.
No, some 1-pagers are long and they have sections to them, and some are literally like, "This is our company name," and like maybe one other thing. There's some that are extremely short and don't have any information really.
Right. So if that's the case and you don't have good information about who you are, what you do, why you do it, then maybe you need to fix your website, because that could be a red flag on your part, not necessarily them. So on the whole, for those who have good websites, if they say, I couldn't find much on your website, then maybe it's an actual red flag or maybe not. So
it's good to have, like, when I say 1 page, I'm meaning there's like, you pull it up and that's it. You can't scroll. You should have sections that it's like, this is the about us. Maybe this is our mission, our vision, our core values. This is our products. This is whatever. Even if you don't have like physical products, like your services of like, I teach these classes, prices. You should definitely have your prices on there. Things like that. You just should have a nice idea of all your stuff there.
By the way, if you haven't taken a moment to share this live stream, do it right now, because I guarantee someone in your audience, in your network, could benefit from what we're going over right here, right now. So take a second, hit the share button. It'd be massive help for us, because we're doing this 100% for free. And we have to pay to produce this, but we're doing it free for you. All right. And so that's my commitment to you guys, is we want you to be able to, achieve your personal, professional, financial goals more effectively, efficiently, and profitably. That is our mission. Like, we want that for you guys. And so the best way that we can do that is, number one, is you got to interact with us a little bit. So if you have a specific question, if you have an interview question, maybe you've never interviewed before, like put that in the chat. Never interviewed before.
Sometimes people haven't.
Yeah. But if you're a business owner, I would encourage you to break that chain, break that, whatever is holding you back from doing that, and say, you know what, I'm going to interview X number of people in the next few weeks before Christmas. Just put it out, And
if you're too scared to actually, or you're having trouble finding people to interview, at least right now, do a mock interview with your family member.
Even good. Even better. I love it.
Heck, grab someone off the street and do a mock interview with them. Be like, hey, can I have 5 minutes of your time?
Why not?
But yeah, do it with someone that you feel semi-comfortable with. Practice it. See how it goes. Figure out what questions you like, which ones you don't, and go from there.
So another red flag To the question of, by the way, what do you know about Rescue Site? Is, I think your business kind of does XYZ. If they don't know without a shadow of doubt what exactly you do, first of all, if it's not on your website, that's issue number one. But number two is you're obviously not marketing and letting people know that, hey, we sell defibrillators, we manage businesses, we teach CPR. Like if people don't know, hey, we're creating a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. Do you want to join that vision? Like you should say that every day. You should. I think Pat Quinn talked about, you should say it 7 times a week, and if you've gotten to Friday and you've only said it one time a day, then you're working on the weekends as far as telling your story.
Yeah.
And sharing, who you are, what you do, why you do it. So you should do it at least once a day. Do it as often as you can. Like, I love telling my story.
There's plenty of people to meet on LinkedIn.
Plenty of people to meet on LinkedIn. Heck, go find a dating app and just be like, yo, I just want to, tell you a little bit about my business.
It constantly comes up in conversation, whether we're standing in a line, getting on a plane flight, or trying to check out a grocery store, or waiting in line for something else. Like you can talk to people, strike up conversation. You'll probably end up talking about what you guys do, and you can soft pitch, practice on them.
Yeah.
You're not trying to directly sell them anything. You're just practicing to get comfortable with it. So that by the time someone super important that you've been is your prized person to be able to talk to about your business comes, you're like, boom, I got it. Like, it is down. I feel super comfortable. I could say it in my sleep.
Red flag number 3 is I couldn't find anything.
Unless you truly don't have anything
online. Unless you truly don't have anything online. But okay,
problem too,
so here's another thing I see all the time, okay? Specifically with CPR instructors, because they had not burned the ships. They are still doing 26, I'm not going to say 7, 26 different, side hustles and shiny objects. Oh, I'm selling lashes. Oh, I'm selling CBD. Oh, I just started this, affiliate program and blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, you need to focus in, alignment. It should be one of your core values. And if it's not, then guess what? When they do go to your social media and try to figure out what you do in your interview, and they're like, I think you do lashes. I think you sell CBD. What exactly am I interviewing for?
Yeah, you got to have your main thing. And if, maybe you are doing stuff on the side, but make sure that you have clear social profiles for your business.
Yes.
At that point. If you want to do stuff on your personal page, by all means, go for it. But when you are, and you should still be promoting your business on your personal page too.
Here.
But, and people have different takes on all that. But
no, they don't. Everyone agrees with that one.
You should definitely have your business website, your business social media accounts for all of the things, and be posting regularly on them. Reuse stuff. Do a live video and then take a couple second clip from that and do that on Instagram, and then do a regular, video on whatever. Write a blog post and then pull a couple lines from it and put it on Twitter. You can reuse stuff, and it'll help cycle around to where the stuff you're saying is getting heard multiple times.
Yeah.
Back to red flags.
Well, question number 2 is, give us a brief overview of your past 3 positions. What were you responsible for, and what impact did you make? Very specific questions, because what can happen is, not being concise. There's the red flag. So number 1 is not being concise, over talking, explaining more than 3 positions. Okay. When I ask a very specific question, give us a brief, these are worded very specifically, give us a brief overview of the last 3 positions. What were you responsible for, and what impact did you make?
I really like the impact question, because people with responsibilities one, they're like, give you some really fancy talk for a very simple thing that they did, just because people have gotten really good at writing things in a very eloquent way to make it sound more exciting than it is. But if you say, what impact did you make? That's a very specific question, of which it's going to be very challenging for someone to answer if they didn't do anything there. in the
Right.
sense of like make an impact outside of like maybe answering emails or whatever the case.
What you're responsible for, that is very transactional.
Yeah.
Your impact is lasting. Like that is, hey, because I did this transactional responsibility over here, I was able to provide 20 defibrillators, 20 Zoll defibrillators for this particular community. And guess what? Last year, 2 of them were used and both of them lived. That's impact.
Yeah.
That is impact right there. And so transactional in the sense that, hey, I was able to, sell. I was able to, set it up, the system, and, do the hardware, software training and maintenance. That's all transactional to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But the impact is because of this that we did, 2 people's lives were saved.
Well, and often impact, it can be, simply XYZ happened because of transactional thing I did here. But it also could be I chose to, start this new program or ask if we could raise the bar on this specific thing, or if we could, work with this specific company and do a nonprofit option. Like normally that's going to go outside of the transactional things and show how they personally got involved with the business outside of just what their job responsibilities were, and show where their personal side of things delve into it. Whereas if there's someone who just clocks in and out, they probably won't have anything to say for that.
Yeah, you're right. So a couple more red flags on this question about the 3 positions, responsibilities and impact, is not being able to actually define the impact to those roles.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can't define it, that's a red flag. Not being able to explain job hopping. Hey, I see you had 3 roles, but that was in the past 3 months. What's going on? Like if there's no ability to explain that, and there might be a good explanation for that, by the way.
Yeah.
There's like, I wouldn't throw someone out because of that. It's worth a conversation, right? But if they can't explain the job hopping, that's a red flag. Talking trash, making excuses about prior employers, so big.
Does that tell you they're going to do it about you?
That's exactly right. I mean, like you marry someone who's been divorced, guess what? They've already done it once.
That's a little harsh.
Okay.
That might not be quite the same thing.
Maybe they just got it wrong the first time.
Well, I would say if they're constantly trash talking either a current spouse or a past spouse, that would be more of a red flag for me,
right,
than just straight up divorce, because you don't know what caused
divorce. Oh, sure. So like if someone is cyclically getting divorced every 2 years, that's a red flag, right? It's like, okay, in 2 years, I'm about to get divorced with the same woman because I decided to marry her, right? Why? I don't have no idea, but that should have been part of your interview process. Whole nother story. But for a business, talking trash, making excuses about prior employers tells you that they're going to do the same about you. And that is not someone that I want in my company rubbing off in a negative, because that is negative, way on my positive team. Question number 3, mission, vision statement. All right. This is where we talk about, hey, at Rescue Site Services, we are creating a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. The way we're doing that is helping CPR instructors grow their business more effectively, efficiently, and profitably, all while attaining their personal, professional, financial goals. Where do you see your professional goals in 35 years? Boom. You're able to introduce your vision, your mission, your core values. Oh.
I heard 35 years, not 30.
You're 35 years. You're staying with us forever.
I was like, wow, that's a long time.
Where do you see your professional goals in 3 to 5 years? Red flag. I want work-life balance. I would say that is a red flag. Would you agree?
I think that I wouldn't necessarily write the person off. I would want to hear more about what they mean, just because that is a common phrase.
Yeah.
But yes, like on the whole, that tends to lead more towards a clock in, clock out kind of employee. So you'd want to sort of flesh that out more, because I have heard people use a phrase of work-life harmony, I think is the word that they used. But you'd probably just want to flesh that answer out. It would definitely be one you would need to have follow-up questions on if they say that.
Like your vision, by the way, should scare the heck out of your, potential employee. We're creating a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. Oh my gosh, how is this guy going to do that?
You want them to be like, how? Are you
Right.
sure you can do that?
Are you sure? You a little bit crazy? Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, cool. But like that's my point. Like if it doesn't scare, like you should try to scare them away. Like I would say that. But like with your vision, your mission. But like to the point of a work-life balance. I mean, if your vision is that big, which it should be, otherwise, what are you doing? Then like you don't want someone with work-life balance. You want someone who's willing to grow this with you and be there. Like this is their baby too. I don't have goals. Have you ever heard someone say that? A pro tip, filter. If they don't have them or no one has shown them how to create them, okay, that is something you should be able to filter. You don't have one because most people don't actually achieve the goals that they set, or you don't have them because no one's ever actually showed you how to have them. That's two different situations. So you filter through asking further questions, because if it's the latter, no one's ever showed them how, we can show you how to set a goal.
Yeah.
And we can show you how, to do that properly.
And sometimes those people are harder workers than others because
Agreed.
You've just given them exponential value.
Yep.
That way transcends whatever they're doing at their job, because now this has affected the trajectory of their life.
And it's kind of interesting too, like when you I'll take another industry. So for the gun industry, right? Can I say guns on YouTube?
You just did.
Okay, we good. All right, cool. So I just want to make sure, right? What happens is oftentimes women are better shots than guys, because guys have it in their head that I'm a man. I should naturally know how to shoot a gun, right? And women, they'll actually listen to the instructor and they'll outperform the guys so more times than not, which is hilarious. So for those, bringing that back to this scenario here, is if someone has never been taught how to properly set a goal, that's okay. We can show them how if they have an ability to learn and execute. Okay. Another red flag might be, hey, I don't believe in goals because most people don't achieve them anyways. I just read that because I already said that. Okay, cool. But you get the point. Like if someone says I don't have goals because, most people, statistics show.
Well, that tells you that their discipline probably isn't there, because that's the main reason why people don't achieve them. Like unless they're saying I want to grow wings and fly like a bird, then that's different. But as long as it's like a attainable goal, that's a weird way to say it too.
I got two more questions that I want to run through, and we only have 2 more minutes.
Go for it.
So, what are your salary expectations? This is a very important question to ask, because if you have someone working 100% on commission, that's not good, right? Because you have to be able to take care of yourself, your family, if you have one, and your loved ones. So, like, what do you personally need in order to, like, you can give them a range. Hey, this is between this and this. What of that? What are your salary needs? So, red flag is, hey, asking well beyond the range. Mm-hmm. So, if you know that this job is, $150,000 job per year, then, and they're like, I'm looking for $250,000. That is asking well beyond the range. If salary range was posted in job description, which it should be, which is a whole nother conversation, but know that you should properly post a job description. We can talk about that later. Number 2, when they defer and deflect as a negotiation strategy without stating an actual number, I asked you a question, give me an answer. Like if you can't give me an answer, there's a problem in communication, and now I don't trust you because for whatever reason you're not able to have transparency with me and give me an answer. So you want to make sure if they're like dodging the question, not someone you want to deal with, and get an answer. By the way, always get an answer. Non-committal, not demonstrating care for the value of their worth. I would say $80,000. But I'm willing to negotiate, right? Like, dude, you should know your worth, and you should say, hey, I need $85,000 in order to work in California, and then the rest can be commission. Boom. Concise. That's awesome. The 5th and final question, and we're going to wrap this up, is what questions do you have for me? Red flag number 1 is no questions at all. Not good. No matter how perfect your websites are, no matter how perfectly I explain my vision and mission to you in this conversation, this interview, there are things I missed, and you should have questions. Number 2 is transactional questions. If they're asking, hey, days off, work hours, benefits, bro, like you're obviously worried about the wrong things. Next is too many questions based on the time remaining. So lack of awareness in, okay, so we know that this is a 30-minute interview, and there's 5 minutes left for questions, and then you start asking questions well beyond the 5 minutes. You're not aware of my time. Not good. Next one is asking questions where answers are in the job description. Don't ask questions that we've already answered.
Yeah.
That is a waste of everyone's time. And finally, not asking specific job description questions. For example, targeting the top 3 areas inside the job summary section. Okay. So like, again, like we can talk about job descriptions in another episode, but I hope this was a powerful, Rescue Owners Live for you tonight, because this was just a powerhouse of information. And I hope you took notes and are able to not only learn and educate yourself, but actually execute. Bring yourself from education to execution, and you will create a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. My name's Kirk, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next Monday for Rescue Owners Live, episode number 28. Can you believe that? Until then, be great. I hit it twice.
I was like,
As a CPR instructor, you probably get asked how and where to buy equipment like defibrillators and first aid kits. Up to now, you've probably either shrugged off the question or told them to Google it. Don't miss opportunities like that. Instead, be the one to not only provide the knowledge of how to save a life, but also the resources to be ready to rescue. It's time to become a Rescue Site affiliate, and it's incredibly easy to do. Introducing the Rescue Site Affiliate Program, the only customizable platform with every defibrillator on the market, first aid equipment, and so much more. Now with the Rescue Site Affiliate Program, you can recommend products and earn commissions without having to purchase, warehouse, or ship products. When you become a Rescue Site affiliate today, you are automatically approved and will receive a customizable link to your store with your name on it. You earn commissions from all qualifying purchases through the traffic you drive to your new store. Whether you're just getting started as a CPR instructor, whether you have a team of instructors, or whether you're a training center with thousands of instructors across the country, this program is for you. Stop shrugging and start providing both the knowledge and the resources to save more lives. Become a Rescue Site affiliate today.